YouTube, so I'm here today to finally do my labor and delivery video. It's been close to 2 months since I've had my little boy, so let's get started so I can give you guys the details before they become a blur in my mind. So I'll give you guys kind of like, I guess, the highlights of it. He was born August 21st, 2014. He weighed 9 pounds 1 ounce. I was induced, and what else? He was 21 inches long and came out very healthy and happy. So I went into, let's get started. I went into my doctor's appointment at 41 weeks pregnant. I saw a different doctor this time, which I was glad to see because my other doctor didn't seem to really care that I went over. I did have gestational diabetes as well, so I was kind of worried to have my son past the 40 weeks. So I did go in at my 41-week appointment, and she wanted me to be induced right away. So she ended up calling 2 of the hospitals that were around me. Both of them were super full. They didn't have anybody or any open rooms. So they ended up putting me on a wait list to, you know, when they got a room opened up, they would call me. So she ended up checking me. I was 4.5 centimeters dilated. And I don't think I was effaced at all. He was really high up. He was high up basically till I was ready to push. So yeah, that's a different story. He was really high up. So she did send me to the hospital anyway to get an NST testing and to get some blood drawn to make sure all my levels were okay. Everything turned out fine, the NST and everything. And I knew that that hospital was really super busy because when I walked by the labor and delivery, there were like people pouring out of the rooms and stuff like that. So I was like, oh my gosh, when are they ever gonna get me in here to have my son? So anyways, I went home around 4 o'clock, and they ended up calling me around 8:30 saying that they had a room open for me to come on in. So I put my son to bed, and me and my husband headed on down to the hospital. It's about 30 to 45 minutes away from our house, depending on traffic. My mom was staying here with my son. I didn't leave him here alone. So yeah, I got in there around 9:30, but they actually didn't start hooking me up to everything and the Pitocin and all that fun stuff until around 11 or 12. So they checked me. I think I was still 4.5 centimeters, and I don't know how effaced I was. I can't remember. But yeah, they hooked me up to some Pitocin, and I just kind of laid there to get some rest. Around 2 o'clock in the morning, that's when I started having some contractions, and they were starting to get painful. They woke me up out of my sleep. So I think between 2 and 4, I started having really bad contractions, and I needed to get some medication. I was really in pain. So she ended up giving me, I don't know what she gave me, but she gave me something for the pain before I was going to get my epidural. So I could wait a little bit longer before I got my epidural. So I got my medication, and it made me so sleepy. I don't know if it was that made me sleepy or what, but I was so sleepy the whole time. So I fell back to sleep for a little while, and then I woke up, and that medicine was not helping anymore. I was like, give me my epidural. It is like, I need this stuff. Yeah, I was in so much pain. The contractions were coming one right after the other. So yeah, they checked me again, and I was 7 centimeters dilated, and they were waiting on the anesthesiologist to come in to give me my epidural. And the nurse was like freaking me out. She was like, I don't think you're gonna make it to the epidural. I think you're gonna have this baby before you have it. And I was like, no, I need my epidural. I'm not gonna have this baby before I get my epidural. I was in so much pain. So finally she came about 15 minutes later, and I got my epidural, and everything was smooth like gravy. Okay. The whole time I was really super sleepy. I was like I couldn't keep my eyes open. The doctors would come in and talk to me. My husband was talking to me, and I just kept falling asleep. So that's, I don't know if I asked her, does the Pitocin make you feel that way? And she said no. So I don't know what it was exactly that made me so tired. Maybe it was the lack of sleep that night, but I mean, I was really super tired. So yeah, or maybe my iron, because I'll tell you guys in a minute, but my iron was really low. So anyways, by, I don't know what time it was, but they checked me and I was 9 centimeters dilated, but he still hadn't dropped. So they were gonna wait about another hour or 2 hours to see if he dropped. So they were moving me back and forth from side to side, and they noticed that every time I would have a contraction, his heart rate would drop. So they decided to take me off the Pitocin and just have my natural contractions keep coming. So that's what they ended up doing. I ended up having to lay either on my left side or halfway on my left side with my legs really high up. I couldn't go on my right side because his heart rate would drop really low. He just did not like it. He was so high up. He was in my ribs. I could feel him in my ribs the whole time. Just hurt so much that he just did not want to drop. So what I kept doing was massaging the top part of my stomach where his body was, and where my ribs were, to try and move him down, because they kept moving me back and forth and trying to position me to where he would start dropping. And I was starting to get nervous because I was progressing well with as far as dilation goes, but he wasn't dropping it. So I asked the nurse, what is gonna happen if if he doesn't drop? Well, you're gonna have to have a C-section. That's something I didn't want. So I was like, oh my gosh, he needs to drop. So I just kept massaging it, and finally he dropped down. I say a lot. So finally he dropped down, and I was 10 centimeters. My water had broke somewhere in between the 7 centimeters. When they were checking me, my water broke. I didn't even notice. The doctor just said, oh, your water broke. So yeah. I started pushing. The contractions were coming one right after the other, and I had him at 4:35. I had him at 4:35 in the afternoon. A beautiful boy named Omar. He came out super white, and I only pushed between 20 and 30 minutes, which is like a huge difference from my son. So I was in labor for about 17 hours. Compared to Juelz, my older son, I was in labor with him for over 24 hours, and I was pushing with him for 2 hours. And this guy, I was in labor with him for 17 hours and pushed for 20 to 30 minutes. And the reason why his heart rate would keep dropping every time I had a contraction was because the cord was wrapped around his neck, and the same thing happened with my son as well. So I don't know what's up with that exactly, why that happened with both of them, but yeah. And so after he was born, he was looking a little whitish, so they gave him a little bit of oxygen, but he was just fine. His oxygen levels were great. So everything turned out fine until the very end. I don't know if you guys ever had a baby, but if you haven't, after they take out the catheter and after they take out the epidural and everything, you're off of everything, they want you to pee to make sure that, which I think is crazy, because the whole time that you're not, that you're in labor, you can't eat or drink anything. So how the heck are you supposed to pee something if you've been in labor for like 20 hours? Anyways, that's my rant. They wanted me to pee in one of those little bedpans, and I couldn't go pee there. So I was like, let's go to the bathroom. Let's see if I can go pee. So I got up and I was walking to the bathroom, and this might be a TMI for you guys, but this is labor and delivery, so you gotta know, might happen to you, might not. I hope it doesn't happen to you. But as I was walking, I could feel the blood dripping down my leg and onto the floor. And as I kept walking, more blood would be coming out. So as soon as I got to the bathroom, the nurse was with me, and I sat down to go to the bathroom, and I couldn't pee, so I told her, I can't go. So I went to get up, and as soon as I got up, I just felt like death. I felt like not there. I felt really hot. I just felt like I was gonna pass out. And I told her, I said, I don't feel so good. I don't feel right. And she said, sit down, sit down. And as soon as I sat down, I passed out. And the next thing that I knew, I just see a bunch of nurses around me, and they're giving me that, I don't know, it's that smell thing, whatever it's called, to try and wake me up. And I couldn't breathe. I was telling her, I can't breathe. She says, yes, you can. Just take deep breaths. So I was breathing like as if I was giving labor again. And I came to, And oh, I forgot to tell you guys, as soon as I stood up before that, when I told her I couldn't go to the bathroom, this huge blood clot came out. I mean, it was freaking huge. I lost a lot of blood. So that's the reason why I ended up passing out. I didn't lose enough to where I needed any kind of blood transfusion, but they did have to go back in and make sure the whole placenta was out and check to make sure everything was okay. And then also give me some medication to help me stop bleeding. And yeah, so they gave me that. But so my whole labor went super great all up till the very end. After I had him, then that's when I started having some complications. And you know what, even the same thing with my son. If you guys haven't watched my first labor and delivery video with my older son, you would know that with him, I had my water broken over 24 hours, so I ended up getting an infection, and I had a super high fever, and I was sweating so much, so they had to keep me in there for an extra couple days. And during labor, they had me covered with like ice and all this other stuff because I had such a high fever. So yeah, this one ended up having hemorrhaging, the other one I ended up having infection. But yeah, all in all, it was a really good labor. I keep joking with my husband, saying the next kid that we're gonna have, our kid number 3, you know, way down the road a couple years from now, will probably end up killing me because of every time that I end up going in to have these kids, some kind of complication happens to me. So yeah, but I'm really happy that they ended up keeping me another day, just to see how everything goes. So after they gave me my medication and kept me in the labor and delivery room for another hour to make sure everything was okay and I didn't keep hemorrhaging, I went to the postpartum room. So yeah, from there on, everything went great. I came home. Let's see, I had him on Thursday. I came home Sunday morning. Or Sunday afternoon, I believe. Saturday or Sunday, I can't remember. And yeah, so he came out super healthy and happy little boy with a lot of hair. And everything went good. I hope you guys like this labor and delivery video, now that I could tell you guys everything that happened. I hope I didn't leave anything out. Oh, and the nurse said that one of the reasons why, or probably the reason why I ended up hemorrhaging, was because I was on Pitocin for so long, because I was on for about 17 hours. That's the reason. So yeah, I guess, I don't know. But yeah, I will see you guys in my postpartum video, and I'll let you guys know about the breastfeeding and the weight loss and all that fun stuff, because I'll be filming my 2-month postpartum video soon. See you guys later. Bye.